Is this thing on? Didn't think I'd actually record one of these. Hello, I'm Jalen, and I'm a Jedi. Not really, but my father was.
I know what you're thinking. Jedi couldn't form attachments or have kids. That's a misconception. There are things about the Jedi folks don't talk about. I mean, did you really think women pregnant with Force-sensitive kids just happened?
You'll hear it in every small town on distant planets. Drunk old-timers will tell you Jedi passed through places like Mos Eisley before the Purge.
Some say they were scouting. I think they just liked the drinks, or the females. Said that Jedi with red sabers were the dangerous ones, but I think people often confuse that all Force sensitives are Jedi. Another misconception. So why tell these stories now? Why not? Why not? Why not? I have this recorder. I won this Halo recorder in a game of Sabacc. A drunk Aqualish. Thought he was betting rations. I'm not doing this to convince anyone. It's more like, I want the truth out there. Even if it sounds like a drunk story from a desert scav. Jedi have been gone a long time. These are my stories. Stories of a slightly Force-sensitive guy. Still not a Jedi.
Been thinking if I could even talk about this. But the recorder's already on, so guess I'm gonna try. Did my last holo surprise you? Not every Force-sensitive ends up in robes, swinging a saber. The archives say the Jedi code forbade attachment. Didn't say anything about celibacy. They had urges, same as any species. I only met my father a few times. He'd show up, then vanish. Last time was when I was 12. I overheard him tell my mother the Force was weak in me. Said I probably wouldn't develop any abilities at all. When he left, he said it'd be best not to tell anyone about him. Doing a gentle wave, he was gone. I think he died in the Clone Wars, or maybe during the Purge. I never really knew. It just felt true.
Sometimes I think I hear him, just for a second. Probably nothing. Wind plays tricks out here.
We never did talk about him again. Not sure why, but it's like we couldn't. Funny how I can tell this old recorder, though. Still not a Jedi.
This is my shop, Voxtel Alloys. I'm the best alloy engineer on Tatooine. Better than any droid, or Jawa. All right, let's get this mess sorted. Clients won't wait, and neither will the sand. I inherited this shop from my Uncle Xanda back in my 20s. He got shot over a commission by some bug-eyed Rhodian coward. Some folks say it was that Rhodian always causing trouble near Mos Espa. Guy like that, he'll get his, sooner or later. Until a few years ago, I worked this bench with my mom, Kaela. She passed from sand fever. She used to say I had gifts. Pretty sure she meant fixing junk, not using the Force. I mostly deal with armor and hull repairs. The Jawas hoard all the droid gigs. I get paid in the weirdest stuff. Last week, bantha jerky and a broken cooling coil. Said the coil was vintage. Vintage. Still not a Jedi. I wasn't sure if I should talk about this, or if I even could. So, I guess you're wondering if I ever did develop abilities, or if my father was right. Truth is, I've always had something. Didn't even know it was special at first. Thought everyone could feel what I feel. Sometimes it'd hit me like a wave. Fear, anger, joy. Not mine, someone else's. I can feel emotions and tensions, sometimes even before someone says a word. Helps in negotiations and avoiding scams. Once, I walked into a cantina and turned right around. Didn't even know why, just knew I shouldn't stay. I can feel it when someone's connected to the Force. Familiarity, like eating your mother's cooking. Guess my father could too.
He could sense it in me. Still not a Jedi. In my last holo, I mentioned being able to feel Force-sensitive people. I've only met a few, besides my father.
Was this kid when I was young? The occasional traveler passing through? Oh, and some farmer boy from the Lars homestead area.
There was this old man out past the ridge, near the Junlin Wastes. Hired me once to fix a busted vapor intake valve.
Place was spotless, middle of a dust-blasted canyon, and somehow, no sand anywhere. It was amazing. I don't know if he knew he was Force-sensitive, but he was strong. Didn't talk much, just sat there stroking his beard, staring. When he looked at me, it was like he already knew who I was. Even his voice carried something calm. Made you want to listen, even when he barely said a word. Paid in Imperial credits, too. Out here, that's like tipping with museum pieces. He gave me this small smile as I packed up my tools. Not much, but enough to stick with me all these years. As I rode off, I swear I heard him say, "May the Force be with you." When I looked back, he was gone. Ben, good energy there. Still not a Jedi. Another job at a Hutt's palace this morning. Lucky me. The Hutts are the crime lords of Tatooine. You know, the slimy crime lords running half the planet. I don't like going there. Everything in that palace just radiates bad intentions. And don't get me started on the smell in that palace. Not just rot gut and slime. It's fear. That place stinks of it. And the way those dancers look at you, it's not curiosity. It's calculation. Survival math. If Jabba ever croaks, that monkey lizard will be snacking before the body's cold. That laugh of his, though. You hear it once, you don't forget it. Echoes down the whole palace like a vibro drill in your skull. I can feel it in there. Every being in that place wants something. Some of them want blood, some just want a way out.
But the pay's good. I get in, do the job, get out, quick as I can. Usually fixing the Rancor cage. Ugh. The handler's worse than the beast. Greasy, twitchy, eyes always darting. Like he's waiting for the day it gets loose, so he can enjoy the show. The best part of any Hutt job, seeing the suns again when you step outside. That first breath of desert air feels like freedom. Still not a Jedi, just good with alloys. This is the Dusk Run Tap, my usual drinking spot. No holo recorders in here. I sent my speeder bike home on autopilot. I always walk after a few drinks. Clears the head. I live in Enra. It's a pretty quiet town, as you can see. Mostly just locals, causing no trouble. I live on the outskirts, the Voxtel family homestead. Not too far from Akaris, where my shop is. I grew up in Espa. My mother worked in a cantina there, and that's where she met my father. Despite not having a father, I had a good life. My Uncle Xanda was like my dad. I got my love of speeder bikes from him. While most of the kids wanted to go to the academy, I had no interest. Only bikes, alloys, and females for me. After my uncle passed, we moved back to the family home and took over the shop. It's been in our family for generations. Out here, the night's never really quiet. The desert's alive in its own way. My mother always said, home isn't where you are, it's who you're with. Guess she was right. Home sweet home. Still not a Jedi, just a little drunk.
Remember I told you I won this recorder in a game of sabacc? That was a fun and fruitful night.
In case you didn't know, sabacc's a card game. Half luck, half nerves, and a quarter lying. Don't check the math.
Luck was with me that night.
Moss Isley, late at night. One of those bars where half the drinks have sand in them. Trandoshans, a Nikto, and a drunk Aqualish. Good times. The Aqualish kept pulling junk out of his sack. Ration packs, a bent hydro spanner. Then this thing. Didn't even know it was a recorder. I figured I'd play along, and he was sure he had a winning hand. Turns out, he didn't even know which game we were playing. The Nikto got twitchy, started arguing about the rules. Someone claimed I palmed a card, which I didn't, that time.
Thought it might settle down for a second. Then someone yelled, "Cheater."
Blaster got drawn, table flipped, Trandoshan punched the bartender. I took my winnings and very calmly walked out the back.
Hopped on my speeder and didn't stop till I hit the Dune Spine Ridge. Still had sand in my boots. Didn't even count my winnings till morning. Too busy escaping.
Found this saved on it. Looks like the Aqualish was casing us.
Thing still works, obviously. Great hand. Fun night. Still not a Jedi.
Up till now, I've told you about some of my father's gifts. Feeling emotions, intentions.
I discovered my most useful gift at 15. I was in town. There were these two guys, thugs really, and this female Twi'lek. I felt her fear, their rage. And I just stood there, frozen. There was this metal pot near them. I wished I could chuck it at the biggest guy's head. Suddenly, bam! It flew across and cracked him right in the skull. The Twi'lek took off running. The thug got up, furious, and started beating his own friend with the pot.
Karma. I got out of there in a hurry. When I got home, I remembered reading that Jedi could move things with the Force, so I tried. I stood there trying to float anything I could find. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then I grabbed a metal plate, and it bent. Turns out it's not just the Force. It's Voxtel alloy work, amplified. That's the real family legacy. I can't pull a starship out of the sky or anything. But I can do this. This helps a lot in my line of work, and in playing tricks on people. Still not a Jedi. It's a Wookiee! I never thought I'd actually see one, except in a textbook. Look at him, huge, angry, and probably roasting in this heat. They say Wookiees can pull arms right off, and I believe it. I wish I had more time to watch, but I've got a meeting with the Jawas. Still, a Wookiee. Can you believe it? You said 10 credits. I want 10 or no deal. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. But where we're going, we don't need roads. Dune Spine Ridge. I come here to unwind, especially after dealing with Jawas. I'm sure you hear it in my voice, that little bit of disdain I've got for Jawas. It's not that I hate them. They're just hard to deal with. Always scheming. Don't get me wrong, sometimes we've got to deal with each other. Parts, scavenge goods, sure. But truth is, they're indirect competition to my shop. Back in the day, people didn't buy new droids. They brought them in for repairs. I wasn't the best with electrical. My uncle Xanda, he was brilliant. Could bring anything back to life. But then people stop repairing droids. They'll dump them in the scrapyard and go buy refurbished droids from the Jawas. Here's the scam. Jawas pulled those same droids out of the junk, patched them up, and resold them. Half the time, folks are buying back their own droids without even knowing it. And not to mention, Jawas are ugly. One time, at the scrapyard, I saw a piece of metal snagged on a Jawa's hood. I gave it a tug, using my father's gift,
and down came the hood. Imagine if a Kowakian monkey lizard mate with a womp rat. That's what I saw. And they say the females are even uglier. What a day. Saw a Wookiee, argued with Jawas, still not a Jedi. I've been trying to think of the best way to record this holo. I want to tell you about my mother, Kaela Voxtel. This is her. She was a hard-working, strong woman with a strange sense of humor. Uncle Xanda always said my mom and I were cut from the same cloth. I'm not sure I see it, but she was my mother, and a good one. She grew up here on the Voxtel homestead and moved to Mos Espa in her late teens. She worked at the Twin Sons tap room as a barkeep. Strange job for a human woman, I know, but nobody ever told her what she could or couldn't do. She was lucky. Our family's shop had enough connections. Could have ended up owned by a Toydarian, or worse, a Hutt, like her friend was. She met my father in her early 20s. Said she couldn't resist his charm. He used to visit once a season. When she got pregnant with me, he stayed the whole season and helped out. But after I was born, the visits slowed and then stopped. Honestly, I think he was hoping for a Padawan, and I wasn't strong enough in the Force. I remember my mother crying after his last visit. I wanted to say we didn't need him, but I couldn't. Truth is, we never needed him. Oh, or his credits. After Uncle Xanda was murdered, she quit her job and we moved back here to run the shop and take care of my grandparents. My grandparents passed a few years later. She and I were doing fine, just the two of us. She always came home late from repair jobs. Dust on her face, sand in her boots, smiling anyway. Then came the worst sandstorm in recent memory. She was returning from a job when it hit. She forgot her mask that day. She made it home, barely said a word. Collapsed into the chair right over there. We thought we cleaned her lungs out, thought she was okay. But sand fever doesn't show itself right away. She got weaker every day. And there was nothing I could do. A few weeks later, she was gone. Several towns showed up for her memorial. I didn't even know she knew that many people. It was nice to see she was loved and remembered. Miss her daily, still not a Jedi.